Hello and welcome to your August 31st daily briefing. Today we're going to cover some updates with the second stimulus package and the second stimulus check, and then we're going to get into some additional guidance from the IRS for Trump's payroll tax deferral program, and this is really important whether you're an employee or you own a business with employees. And then we're going to finish off with some finance news that's going to make you think that we're already living in the future. And also, before we get into it, just a reminder, the promotion for Weebl in order to receive 2 free stocks ends today. After today, you will receive just 1 free stock. All you need to do is deposit $100 into your brokerage account and you'll get 2 completely free stocks valued between $12 up to $1,400. And the best part is you don't even have to spend the $100. You can keep that and then still keep the stock. So make sure you do that today if you're interested. All right, starting off. For a couple weeks, Republicans have been talking about their skinny stimulus bill that is set to address funding for the post office, enhance unemployment, another round of paycheck protection funding, help for schools, and funding for virus testing. Despite promises, we still have yet to actually see this skinny bill. I'm starting to think this skinny bill is a lot like a diet where Republicans keep on saying they're going to turn over a new leaf and get skinny, but it just never actually happens. In all seriousness, Republicans had the idea of the $500 billion skinny bill. However, they have since upped that ante to $1.3 trillion in an attempt to negotiate with Democrats, who are looking at a package size of $2.2 trillion, down from an initial $3.4 trillion. Just for some context here, let's talk about the evolution of the package size on both sides so we can get everything straight. Back in May, the House voted on the HEROES Act, which would amount to between $3.4 and $3.5 trillion in total size. Republicans said this bill was dead on arrival and refused to vote on it and decided instead to take up the tactic of wait and see. Wait and see if the economy recovers without further intervention. At the end of July, Republicans finally started working on a bill that ended up to be right around $1 trillion in size. For several weeks, both Republicans and Democrats were set on their numbers, each side unwilling to budge even an inch. Then finally, Democrats said, okay, fine, we'll go down $1 trillion and let's meet at $2.5 trillion in total package size. Then this was hardly acknowledged by the other side. A few more weeks go past, no progress, no progress. The House then passes a post office relief bill and Republicans start talking about their $500 billion skinny bill. Then Democrats go down to $2.2 trillion in total package size and still nothing but tension and anger and ego on both sides. Finally, Republicans budge a little bit and up their price to $1.3 trillion in total size, and this is where we currently sit, a $900 million difference. An interesting fact about all of this is, with few exceptions, the biggest differences in the Democratic and Republican stimulus packages aren't so much what is and isn't included, but instead is the length and the size of the programs within the bill. Both contain stimulus checks, both contain school funding, virus testing, enhanced unemployment, but the House Democrat bill just makes each one of these programs last a little bit longer or slightly more inclusive compared to the Republican bill. The major exception being state and local government funding, where currently the Republican bill does nothing but give more flexibility to previous funding. I find this interesting because it shows that both sides really aren't that far apart ideologically on this. In general, they both want the same things, and that's both the most promising part about all this and the most frustrating thing about all this. It just doesn't have to be this way. Moving on from here, we have some news about the president's payroll tax deferral program. One of the 4 executive orders he made a few weeks ago that outlined companies would be able to defer the 6.2% employee side payroll taxes that normally go to Social Security. And this would last through the end of the year. On this, he also added that if he is reelected, he will do his best to forgive the taxes altogether. This program will make paychecks larger for employees of participating companies through the end of the year, acting as a kind of paycheck stimulus, a little bit on each paycheck. The IRS has released guidance on how exactly this will work, and here's everything you need to know. It's fairly simple. Employees will be able to defer taxes on wages up to $4,000 per bi-weekly pay period. Businesses will be responsible for deferring, then eventually paying back their employees' taxes. As of right now, these taxes are to be paid back between the period of January 1st and April 30th, 2021. And this brings up the biggest issue of the program. Employers are responsible for the payments. This will cause many businesses to decide not to participate because there are certain situations where they may be on the hook for several months of an employee's payroll taxes. I suspect this program will be utilized very selectively and by few businesses. I personally will not be participating for my business unless there's a rule change that the taxes will actually be completely forgiven. Otherwise, we're really just putting today's problems off on tomorrow. So this is really all we have for stimulus news today, and from here, let's do some news that could make you some money. Finance news. Today is the last day of August, and the Dow dropped 200 points this morning. However, despite that drop, we're still looking at the best performing Dow in August since 1984. Meanwhile, the S&P 500 has officially hit record high levels, confirming the beginning of a new bull market. How crazy is that? I've never seen such a strong market in such an obviously shaky footing. I mean, back in 2006, there were a few people who saw the housing crash coming, but for the most part, people were blissfully ignorant of the signs. Most people thought it was just going to keep continuing that way. Right now, we're still looking at record unemployment, thousands of business closures, both small and large, a pandemic and all the uncertainty that comes along with that, and a heated election coming up, and yet we are still seeing record high markets. It just seems like everyone is thinking, well, this doesn't seem right, but I'm going to go ahead and ride it out anyways. I mean, I'm personally holding out on all my positions, but that's just because I don't really believe in trying to time the market. But if there were certain times to buy, hold, and sell, I certainly wouldn't categorize right now as a period of tons of hot deals. You know, Warren Buffett was given some flack a few months back for not making any huge purchases when the markets plunged, citing that he's unsure things are actually getting any better. And it may pan out where he was exactly on the money again if we see a massive correction exposing the weaknesses of even more businesses. Moving on from here, Amazon has officially received federal approval from the FAA to use drones to deliver packages. This gives Amazon the ability to, quote, safely and efficiently deliver packages to customers beyond the visual line of sight. This is part of Amazon's push to offer faster and faster delivery and subsequently take over the entire world. First, Amazon did 2-day shipping. Then later on, they invested billions of dollars to offer 1-day shipping. Then finally, the goal with these drones is to offer a 30-minute delivery window. Will this be the end of delivery drivers and trucks anytime soon? Probably not. These drones will largely be used for small items due to their 5-pound carrying capacity, and they say they will be able to start delivering packages via drones within months. However, this will be at extremely limited scale for a long period of time. So we're probably not going to see fleets of drones flying over our houses all day long every day for quite a while. What are your thoughts on this though? It feels like this is what the future seems like it would be like if I imagine the future. However, it's still pretty eerie to me. And I also wonder if this is going to enable Amazon to do other things like mapping of landscapes or traffic flow, things like that with having all these cameras up in the air. Finally, and because I promised this last week, let's end with some happy news. A farmer in Britain named Douglas Smith grew the country's largest tomato, and look at how happy he is. Anyways, this is all I have for today. I'd like to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a profitable day.